Hi, I'm Eric, and I'm going to talk about multiculturalism. Mexico, with its more than 15 million speakers, it's a multi-ethnic country, has diverse cultures and traditions, both native and foreign, that coexist there. To know what multiculturalism is in Mexico is to recognize the importance of Mexican diversity and how they have managed to advance as a country. The term multiculturalism can be defined as the positive value added to the cultural diversity of a nation. This is what treats and it enriches the cultural heritage and broadens the knowledge of traditions while promoting their practice. Mexican multiculturalism emerged even before the conquest, with the arrival of Mesoamericans to the country. It then continued with the arrival of Spanish, French, and Africans during the colony. And in these days, it continues with the migration of Mexicans to the United States, and then when they return, they bring back the knowledge, the traditions, the languages, and the things that they learn there in the United States. So, what is the importance of multiculturalism in Mexico? In Mexico, there are 62 indigenous languages of the indigenous peoples existing in the country. These are accepted and legally promoted by the state in the interest of avoiding discrimination between races and biological diversity. Knowing what multiculturalism is in Mexico means applying tolerance to individual and group customs. Accepting multiculturalism equals having political, cultural, and religious freedom. For its part, Mexico is concerned with the recognition of everyone equally, without revolt or superiority among the multicultural society. In addition, multiculturalism fosters creativity and knowledge of multiple traditions like gastronomy, the clothing, the physiognomy, etc. So when you travel to another country, you learn, for example, the gastronomy of there. So you can learn how to make a dish, a traditional dish of that country, so you can replicate there when you came back to your country, to Mexico in this example. There are characteristics of Mexican multiculturalism to know. Multi-ethnic character, that means that various customs coexist with each other, which are learned and practiced among all those who live in Mexico. The gastronomic diversity, that Mexico has several dishes like enchiladas, tacos, gorditas, so that demonstrate its cultural miscegenation, and many are considered nutritious dishes amongst those from all over the world. The musical and cultural diversity, that includes the variety in clothes, in traditional dances, traditional songs from all over the world. The multiplicity of languages. Here in Mexico, we have more than 60 indigenous languages that are spoken among the entire population, which has more than 15 million inhabitants. Mexico, as well, is recognized as a multicultural nation and is the eighth country from all the world that has most autonomous villages. And the acceptance of interculturally, that the state legally promotes the acceptance of indigenous people with the interest of evade discrimination and mockery between the cultures. And that's it. Thank you.
What is culture? Culture is fascinating labyrinth of human traditions, beliefs, and expressions that connect us to the past and contains beliefs, values, and behaviors to our sharing in a groups of people. Culture includes language, customs, religion, food, clothing, and music that are passing down from generation to generation and vary in different parts of the world. It is given great importance and affections and shall be respect. Culture is the essence of human diversity. Culture is dynamic and constant evolving. the word changes of traditions adapt. It is important to celebrate and present cultural diversity, because in the union of diverse we feel true regions of humanity.
Hi, my name is Goyo, and I'm going to be talking about biodiversity. So, what is biodiversity? This is when there's a lot of living beings in one spot. When you're talking about living beings, we're not talking about just animals or plants. We're talking about plants, fungus, animals, and all that living beings that cooperate in one spot so the ecosystem can have his movement. We are talking about the nature of life. You can assume it like that. So when we're talking about biodiversity and ecosystems, usually one of the principles is continent to shine over the rest. It's Mexico. Why? Because we have 20,100 species that are living in this country. Also, upon that, even if that wasn't enough, we have 500 endemic species, which is hard. La vaquita marina, this sadly got extinct a few years ago, I think the past year, which is sad, but we could have done something, but sadly it's maybe not in all of our hands. And we have el ajolote mexicano, which is really cool. It's a really adorable animal and one of my favorites actually. And it doesn't just set for animals. We have also plants that are endemic here, which we have el pino de Jalisco and el maíz perenne, which I don't know any of them, but they're endemic from here. So that's really cool. Also with that, we have two principal mountain systems, which is the mountain system Sierra Madre Oriental and Sierra Madre Occidental. And these two, since they're mountain, they carry valleys, they carry, well, the top of the mountain. So this is really good for ecosystems because it's not just you can live here, well, for the animals, plants, and stuff. It carries different ecosystems that different plants, animals can exist since it's not the same. It's the same terrain, but it has different temperatures, different humidity, so it's really good for them. So they can have different spots to live. Now that we're talking about that, we have actually a lot of biomes here in Mexico. We have desert, we have rainforest, we have we have a lot of we have a lot of biomes here. So it's really good because this is really good for the ecosystem because we have a lot of, since we have a lot of species, it's really good for them. Well, it's actually because of that we have a lot of endemic species, and that's why we have over 2,000 species here in Mexico, which is really awesome. And since we have a lot of biomes, we actually have a lot of diversity in the climate. It's not the weather is not gonna be the same here in Pachuca that it's gonna be, I don't know, Monterrey, or it's gonna be the same in Yucatan, or it's gonna be the same in Chiapas. For that reason, each state has its own endemic species over there. And actually in my little town there's a fish that it's endemic from there. So even though we're in the same country and different states, we have whole different things like species, plants, fungus, and it's really interesting and really beautiful. If you have the chance, it's really a good thing to see. And I think that would be everything. Thank you very much.